This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
From the A-Cup House studio on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza, where the fella you heard a little bit earlier, Tucker Wetmore, who was headed to the Opry when he was with us yesterday, got the debut last night with Kelly Sutton hosting, and he did a terrific job. I got to catch his set. My granddaughter had Little League softball last night, so we were out at the ballpark, and so I heard a lot of the debate. Tucker was up against the debate last night. That was his competition. And so I got to hear a little of that while I was out running around, coming and going from the park and a grocery stop and that sort of thing. But he did a great job.
So Lily is how old now?
7.
So we actually pitching, or is this softball, T-ball?
Pitch.
Coach pitch.
Coach
oh,
pitch.
okay. Oh, the opposing coach or your coach?
You pitch to your team.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, so the line. So if you hit the coach with a line drive, you're hitting your own coach, not the opposing coach. Okay. Yeah.
And a couple of bad tosses, and I like to start screaming, "Pitchers blow it up!
Oh, yeah.
Pitchers blow it up!" for my Little League days. Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee, Country, and Cody. It is Francine on the scene at shows like Hardy in Starkville, Mississippi. Yeah, causing postponement, delays, and that sort of thing. People's Choice lineup, some of the bigger stars that are now official on the lineup. I'll announce those here in a little bit. Busy month for Mitchell Tenpenny. Extraordinary success for Shabuzi. Kelly was talking about his CMA nomination earlier in the week. And again, in addition to Tucker Wetmore this morning, David Corlew from the Charlie Daniels Band is going to be by. It's Patriot Award time for the Journey Home project, which David leads out on. He and Charlie created that some 10 years ago now, a decade. Torchy's Tacos from Austin to Nashville.
I know.
In the house, getting a new location.
Ooh, yeah.
And coming to see us this morning.
I know.
With tacos?
Well,
Did you make that a prerequisite?
One would assume, right? But I'm not 100% sure.
And they were with Craig Morgan on the Face the Fight show last night at the Opry with Trace Adkins, who is such a proponent of the awareness we need to bring to this whole military veteran suicide issue. And that's the title. Face the Night is the Face the Fight night at the Opry last night. Brought that to the forefront. And Matt and Cole, the Reeves brothers, were on with Craig Morgan and his portion of the show last night. I heard Henry Cho for a little while I was out, but they're coming to see us this morning too on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Now, I know you see them seated on stage here in the A-Cup House studio in the Grand Ole Opry Plaza. Matt and Cole, the Reeves brothers. We have actually, you can't see that, but we have roped them to their chairs because they are flying high this morning. Because they just played the Grand Ole Opry. Your Opry debut with Craig Morgan, Face the Fight night with Trace Adkins and Henry Cho, and Tucker Wetmore's debut last night as well.
Yeah.
How much have you slept with the buzz that comes after what you went through a few hours ago?
Not very much.
No?
Not very much, man. We've been talking about it nonstop since last night, and the whole ride over here this morning, just how incredible it is and what an honor and a privilege to be a part. I mean, we were telling the people today in the press release, it's the Daytona 500 of country music, and we feel like the Earnhardts.
Well, I was telling Matt, sometimes after a show, it even takes me about an hour and a half just to wind down and try and get to bed, and all I'm doing is talking. I'm not playing. I can't imagine the adrenaline rush.
Oh, I can't imagine having to talk the whole show. I could barely spit out the words for 3 minutes. You guys are doing it all night.
So, Matt, the emotional part, though, comes from the memories of your father.
It does,
in a moment like this.
Our dad growing up, he always would talk about our grandpa. They listened. They had an old battery-powered radio in Delight, Arkansas, that they would all gather around, our uncles and our father, and our dad would sing as a little boy, and his dad would tell him, I'm going to hear you on the Grand Ole Opry, and he never got to play that in all the years he was in the business. And so last night, right before we went out, I had a good little cry on side stage because I knew I'd do it out there if I didn't do it then. Just thinking about it, it was great.
But you did say your dad played the Louisiana Hayride.
He did, yes,
which
sir.
in its day was right there with the Grand Ole Opry as far as important places to play.
Yeah, that was always a big honor. He actually cut a record with the Hayriders there, and they did a whole thing while he went up there for the week. He left California and got to go up there and spend some time, and yeah, that was his biggest probably honor to play there.
For people who don't know your background, tell us more about that trip from Arkansas to Nevada, California.
For our dad going out there.
The musical background and what took him there.
Our dad, what took him there, he originally moved to California to be a prize fighter after he had went to the national finals of the Golden Gloves and fought Ernie Terrell, who ended up fighting Muhammad Ali. And so he moved out there. He had a full ride scholarship to play football at U of A, and then he got into it with the coach over him using profanity to him, and my dad wasn't into it. And so he said, I think I'm going to leave, and he went and married a cheerleader in Conway that he went to college with, and they moved out to California together. And then for about 10 years, he got into a bad contract in boxing that was going to take half of his money.
So.
Yeah, right.
Say it ain't so. Bad contracts in boxing?
So we met Don King as well?
Yeah, I was going to say, he met a guy named Don King.
Yeah. And they wanted 50% of his money for
everything.
For 5 years, so he couldn't do anything, football, boxing, entertainment. So he waited, and then he ended up getting into the music business. He went into a little club in Norco, California, and somebody said he got up at a talent night, and they go, we got to hire him. The manager goes, oh, we couldn't afford that guy. And my dad goes, you'd be surprised. I think you could. So he started playing every weekend there, and then it turned into 5 nights a week, and that's all he did his whole career.
Wow. So you mentioned Ernie Terrell. This is a little off topic, but 2 quick Ernie Terrell things. Number one, my barber for a few years in Nashville was Ernie Terrell's brother, and their sister was in the Supremes. Jean Terrell.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And number 2, Ernie Terrell fought Ali at the Houston Astrodome, and he would not call him Ali. He kept calling him Cassius Clay.
Yeah.
And all night long, you can read Ali as he just pounds him, going, "What's my name? What's my name?" It's a very famous.
Yeah,
fight.
he battered Ernie Terrell.
Oh, for 15 rounds, he held him. He would not knock him out. He
battered
tortured
Terrell
him
about as bad as Terrell battered our dad.
Yeah. Well, that's payback right there.
So what was it like backstage for you last night before you went on stage? Because you were there with a who's who, as I referenced, both Trace Adkins and Craig Morgan.
It was amazing. And, Craig has become a super, dear friend of ours. And Cafe Anderson's a buddy of ours as well. He
has a stage presence.
He's got a
Cafe's he's just got a massive presence. We love him. And then Mike Wolf from American Pickers, he was backstage with us. And it was, it's just, it's like a family. They talk about the Opry family thing, and it's so true.
Rhonda Vincent?
Henry
Cho?
We did not get to meet Rhonda Vincent. We would have loved
I wanted to so bad.
I was searching the halls trying to find, hoping Marty Stewart or Steve Warner was hanging around. I was like, man, if one of them are here, it's going to make my night.
Yeah, before they let us back into that room that's got all the Marty Stewart rhinestone stuff in there.
The Wagon Master room.
Yeah, that's Porter's old dressing room.
Yeah.
Marty
and so we went back there and we just soaked it all in. It was amazing, man. We're still riding high. I was doing laps before we went out there trying to get rid of the jitters.
So, what's your friendship with Craig? Where did it begin and become a working relationship?
Gosh, our first cousin, Scott Reeves, is our manager. That y'all know Scott. He reached out to Craig we had opened Justin Moore's whole tour, the Country On It tour, and when it ended, Scott reached out to Craig about possibly opening some shows. And Craig goes, man, you guys got to come over to the house, and I want to meet these guys, and I love the story. He sent him a little video that we had done of us hanging out at the stage stop where our dad played in Pahrump, Nevada. And he goes, man, I love the story. I want to meet these guys. And we came out, and we spent the whole day with them. And he goes, man, I'll put you on everything I can put you on that's not a festival or something that I don't have anything to do with. He said, but if it's part of the tour, I would love for you guys to do our God Family Country Tour. So we did all the dates on that, the second part of the God Family Country Tour. And it just turned into more of a family than a friendship, Every night he would be hanging out, come to our dressing room. One night I remember he came in and he goes, what are you doing? It was like the second night on tour with him, and I talked to him, and I knew if I keep talking to Craig, I'm gonna be running late on our show. And I said, he goes, what are you doing? I go, well, Craig, I got about 2 minutes supposed to be on stage. He goes, well, get out on stage, boy. I'm just over here trying to hang out and visit with you, man. I didn't realize you got to be on stage right now.
Yeah.
We started laughing. But, yeah, the whole crew is great. Phil O'Donnell, Phil Billy, he wrote Doing What She Likes for Blake Shelton and Baby Fall Into My Kiss for George Strait. And he ended up hanging out with us every show, and then eventually he offered to produce us. So he's working on producing a new record for us right now, and he produced a new duet with Craig Morgan.
Yeah. And you guys you got your residency going at Chiefs, and you've got upcoming shows. I was just looking here today at 2:00 at Chiefs, and then on Monday the 16th at 5:30 you'll be there. So what's that Eric Church connection been like for you?
Well, we ain't seen Eric yet. He's
Eric,
been busy.
where you at?
Eric. No, he's. The way we started off working downstairs at Chiefs with the full band, and then they were having some sound issues and things, and they're working it all out. But we moved upstairs into the little piano bar because we had so much fun. Cole and I love like connecting and talking with the audience, and so it was the perfect vibe for it up there in his little place called Friendly Shadows. And so the times just never sync up. Eric's, he goes on before as we're leaving, he's on stage, so we don't ever see him. But they've been wonderful to us. Chiefs is, it's great.
My understanding is we're getting ready to share a world premiere with people who are watching all over the world on Circle Television, listening worldwide on WSM Radio. Right. And I think, She Don't Want a Cowboy. Is this an original song?
Yeah, this is an original song that I wrote, a couple years ago that I kind of took around to write arounds and throwing it around, but there's so many ideas that float around the rooms, and the second part never got around to being written. And I think one day we had to write with maybe Martin Armour or another writer, and it got canceled for some reason. We didn't go, and we were hanging out, so I thought, I'm going to mess around with that, and I ended up finishing it. And then we cut it before, and then Craig heard it on tour. We were doing it, and he goes, "Man, why don't we do a duet with that?" And so kind of grew into a duet with us with Craig. So we're super excited about it.
Hey, they just came from the Grand Ole Opry House a few hours ago, and then we filled them up on Torchy's Tacos and then said, "Hey, sit down and sing."
Yes.
Matt and Cole are the Reeves Brothers. And the premiere of their new single, She Don't Want a Cowboy, you got to hear just a little bit ago all over the world on WSM Radio, Circle Country Television. It comes out September 27th, actually. Yes, you're going to release it. People can access your music at your website and all the traditional places that music's downloaded and streamed.
Yeah, all over the place. We got... I think we got a new pre-save link on Spotify for the new single that's coming out. So it should have just launched this morning. So
now,
yes, sir.
It takes me back to when I was a kid. If I was a big fan as a kid, I would have been sitting with the radio with my cassette recorder right next, and I would have taped that song, and I'd have it 3 weeks ahead of time.
And look at you now, Charlie.
Yeah. Look at that. Now I'm playing the song.
You were on side.
I got to believe, though, because of your dad and his background in the music business, we talked about him in the first segment. And we often talk about him when we sit down and visit with you guys. It's just a part of your story. It's such an emotional part, too. But you guys would have known vinyl growing up, probably from his collection, right?
Yes.
Specifically, the Charlie Rich Behind Closed Doors vinyl that our dad had 58 copies
Kenny
of.
Rogers' greatest hits.
Yeah.
Our dad had like 100 copies of each of them. And we had old reel-to-reels around there, 8 tracks. Our dad loved music, so it was everywhere.
Well, the great part about that Charlie Rich album was not only had Behind Closed Doors, had Most Beautiful Girl.
Oh, that's right.
So you talk about 2 career songs on one record, right?
Which Billy Sherrill wrote. I never realized that until I was walking through the Musicians Hall of Fame about a year ago, and I saw a plaque up there for Most Beautiful Girl of the World by Billy Sherrill. Oh, wow, that's something.
And Norval Wilson, who wrote it, in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, was a dear friend, and I miss him all the time.
Man.
But
that's awesome.
There's an album that Charlie did, Charlie Rich, called The Silver Fox, and he tells stories before he plays songs about different periods in his career.
Really?
And there's one where he's talking about, he says, my mama wanted me to be a classical piano player, and he plays some classical stuff, and it's just like, whoa, didn't know he had that skill set. And he goes, but I didn't want to play classical. I want to be a blues singer.
That's right.
And then he goes into this whole blues thing. He goes, but the blues made me blue because the blues made me broke. Y'all didn't have any Merle Haggard records growing up, did you?
Not a one.
We never heard of him.
Well, that felt good. It sounded so wonderful all over the world on WSM Radio at 6:50 a.m., WSM terrestrially, and streaming us all over the world at WSMradio.com. And you can watch us, as people do now, Circle Country TV. And you can link to your favorite streaming platform or just watch at circlecountry.com.
And we mentioned a lot of shows coming up at Chiefs on Lower Broad if folks are coming to Nashville, but you got Austin and Fort Worth on the tour schedule as well in just a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. This old boy's birthday, October 12th. We're playing Rhinestones at Fort Worth Stockyard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday early.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Yeah, well, I guess that came through last night when you walked out on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry.
That was the best. That was a lifetime present.
Well, that's Matt and Cole, the Reeves brothers, whom you just met all over the world on Coffee, Country, and Cody.